BBC Radio Kent.
Now then, in the news today, you may have seen the streaming giant Netflix is raising prices for some of its subscription plans, despite the success of its recent crackdown on password sharing. The company said monthly charges for its UK basic service would rise by £1. Let's discuss this now with Andrew Eborn, a barrister and broadcaster. Andrew, firstly, I believe that you're at the TV and Film Festival in Cannes, where you've been hosting the Drama Awards. How's that been going for you?
Oh, it's glorious. I can tell you what, when we come down to the south of France for the sunshine, but it's pelting with rain here. So that sort of thing. So there's no jealousy at all. But as you say, every year I host the Drama Awards for the good and the glorious of the industry. And that's what I've been doing. So quite appropriate, we're talking about Netflix today. Their subscribers of 247 million around the world. And what happened, they had about 100 million of those were sharing their password. And what I find fascinating is that they sent a tweet, or what it's probably now called an X, on the 10th of March 2017, and they used, it was going to come back to haunt them, love is sharing a password. So it is there. We've got that sort of stuff. Check it out. Sent at 8 o'clock on the 10th of March 2017. But what they've tried to do is they've realised that if you're in the same household, then sharing a password is absolutely fine. What they want to find is when you're in a different household, then they want to make sure that they get a revenue stream. And this has actually been very successful for them. And what's happened is actually the firm's growing confidence, and they've added, it could be 8.8 million subscribers from July to September this year, which is more than they've had in the last 2 years. So it's doing incredibly well. So they've decided time to put up the prices, because the content costs money to do, and making sure that they can keep their subscribers at the same time.
Now, the streaming giant did say that monthly charges for its UK basic service would rise by £1 to £7.99, and the advert-free option will increase by £2 to £17.99. How much of an impact do you think this will have, Andrew?
Well, the reality is everybody's looking at every single penny, aren't they? It's struggling with the sort of cost of living, and you've got eating or heating is the big dilemma. So it was a gamble for Netflix, but when times are tough, people need entertainment. And one of the things I speak to around the world is about the future of entertainment. And obviously there's a number of issues, not least about artificial intelligence and the impact that's having. There was a front and centre of what was the writers' strike, it's front and centre of what is the ongoing actors' strike. And some of the issues they've been talking about here is that we can record an actor for just a day's work, and then we would have that actor in every possible gesture that they make, every possible physical movement, and that could be used for eternity. And the real factor is as well, what's going to happen if you are an actor trying to earn your living? And I've given a few examples where Bruce Willis, for example, who has aphasia, which means that he can no longer act. He nevertheless did a deal with a Russian telecom company to use his name and likeness and his voice, and he was paid millions of dollars of that, and that was as a result of artificial intelligence. So getting the right measure is exactly right on that sort of basis. So I think that's what's going to happen. It needs to look at the economics of it. I go around the world, as they say, talking as back to the futurist, thank you, and basically explaining how the technology works, but also talking about the opportunities there are rather than just the threats.
And obviously Netflix has been facing doubts about whether it can continue to draw in new members. You know, competition is rising, prices climb. There, as you mentioned, is the Hollywood strike and delays to new releases. What are your thoughts on this? Have they made the right move?
Well, time will tell, but they need the money. Productions, these glorious productions that they have there, cost a lot to acquire the rights. I mean, it's a television market down here in MIPCOM, where people are buying and selling their wares, just like any market, and production costs are enormous for some of these things. And the reality is what's happening is actually there are advantages, not just in terms of the actors, but artificial intelligence and saving money. We've been talking about remote productions, how you can create virtually any scene anywhere in the world in a studio now as a result of artificial intelligence. So whilst production costs may be rising, technology to help deal with those production costs is becoming basically in the forefront. And I always say that necessity is the mother of invention. And so when you have these strikes, what people are looking at is, well, how do we turn around and make sure that we can embrace technology in an appropriate way? And you would find that during lockdown, the way that those people have never heard of Zoom before, other than thinking it was a nice lolly, if you remember from your childhood. But now we're all Zoomed, and we're all very used to conversing in that particular way. So necessity basically has driven technology and will continue to do so.
All right, good to talk to you. We'll let you go and get out of the rain. Thanks so much for being with us, Andrew.
It's a real pleasure. Look forward to joining you again soon.
Andrew Eborn there, barrister, broadcaster and futurist, live from Cannes.